enchanting kingdom of Eldoria, there were two queens, each ruling over a vast and prosperous realm. Queen Alara, known for her wisdom and kindness, ruled the western lands, where the sun set in hues of gold and crimson over lush forests and sparkling rivers. Queen Seraphine, fierce and courageous, ruled the eastern lands, where the sun rose over towering mountains and endless deserts. The two queens were sisters, born on the same night under a rare celestial event known as the twin moons, where two full moons illuminated the sky together. It was said that this event endowed them with special powers. Alara could communicate with nature, making plants flourish and animals calm in her presence, while Seraphine had the strength of 10 warriors and could control the winds, summoning storms or calming them at will. Despite their differences, the queens shared a deep bond. They grew up together in the royal palace of their father, King Aldrich, learning the arts of governance, diplomacy, and war. But when King Aldrich passed away, leaving behind a vast kingdom, it was divided between the two sisters, as per his last wish. He believed that each daughter had unique strengths that would help them lead their respective realms to greatness. For many years, the two kingdoms thrived under the sisters' rule. Alara's kingdom became a paradise of peace and prosperity, with bountiful harvests and serene landscapes. Seraphine's kingdom grew strong and powerful, with mighty armies and grand cities carved into the mountains. Though they were separated by a vast river known as the Silver Vein, the sisters remained close, often visiting each other and sharing news of their realms. However, as time passed, a shadow began to creep into the lands. It started as a whisper among the people, a rumor of a dark force rising in the north, beyond the mountains and forests that bordered their kingdoms. The rumors spoke of a powerful sorcerer, Morgoth, who had once been a rival of their father. Morgoth had been banished to the frozen wastelands for practicing forbidden magic, but now, it was said, he had returned, seeking revenge. Queen Alara, with her gift of nature, sensed the disturbance first. The animals in her forests grew restless, and the plants began to wither. She knew something was wrong and sent word to her sister. Seraphine, who had been training her armies for a different threat, immediately recognized the danger. The two queens decided to meet at the ancient temple of their ancestors, located on a small island in the Silver Vein, where they could discuss their next step. On the night of the meeting, the air was thick with tension. The temple, surrounded by the tranquil waters of the Silver Vein, was a place of great power, where their father had once made crucial decisions that shaped the kingdom's future. As the two queens stood before the ancient altar, the twin moons once again rose in the sky, casting an eerie light over the temple. Alara, Seraphine began, her voice steady but filled with concern. The time has come for us to face this threat together. Morgoth is not a foe we can defeat alone. Alara nodded, her green eyes reflecting the moonlight. You are right, sister. But we must be careful. Morgoth is cunning and powerful. He will try to divide us, as he did with our father. As they discussed their plans, a cold wind swept through the temple, extinguishing the torches. The air grew heavy, and a dark mist began to rise from the waters of the Silver Vein. From the mist emerged Morgoth, his eyes glowing with malevolent power, his form cloaked in shadow. So, the daughters of Aldrich have finally come together, Morgoth sneered, his voice echoing through the temple. But you are too late. I have already begun to weave my magic into your lands. Soon, your kingdoms will fall, and I will claim what is rightfully mine. Without hesitation, Seraphine stepped forward, her hand gripping the hilt of her sword. You underestimate us, Morgoth. We are not so easily defeated. Alara raised her hands, and the plants that had withered in her kingdom suddenly sprang to life, their roots breaking through the stone floor of the temple and wrapping around Morgoth's feet. You may have power, Morgoth, she said calmly, but you have forgotten the strength of the bond between us. Morgoth struggled against the vines, but they held him fast. Fools, he spat, you cannot stop me. My magic is older than your bloodline. I will break free, and when I do, I will destroy everything you hold dear. But the queens were prepared. Seraphine, with a fierce cry, summoned the winds, creating a vortex around Morgoth that tore at his shadowy form. At the same time, Alara whispered an ancient incantation, calling upon the spirits of the forest and the earth. The ground beneath Morgoth began to glow with a soft, golden light, the same light that had shone during the twin moons' rise on the night of their birth. The combination of their powers was too much for Morgoth. The light and wind intertwined, forming a barrier that slowly began to close around him, trapping him within a sphere of magic that shimmered with the colors of the dawn and dusk. With a final, desperate cry, Morgoth was sealed away, his dark power dissipating into the air. The temple fell silent once more, the only sound being the gentle lapping of the waters against the island. The vines that had ensnared Morgoth returned to the earth, and the wind died down, leaving the queen standing before the now empty space where the sorcerer had been. Seraphine sheathed her sword and turned to Alara. "It is done. Morgoth is no more." Alara nodded, her face weary but relieved. "For now, sister, but we must remain vigilant. The darkness may return, and when it does, we must be ready." The two queens embraced, their bond stronger than ever. They knew that together they could face any challenge, no matter how great. And as they left the temple and returned to their kingdoms, the twin moons set in the sky, their light fading as the dawn approached, heralding a new day for the lands of Eldoria. And so, the story of the two queens became legend, a tale of courage, unity, and the unbreakable bond of sisterhood that would be told for generations to come.